Launch attack!
もはや迷いはせぬ。
You have slain an enemy! You have been...
What up, humans? Kurumi here, and welcome to the Mobile Legends Bootcamp. In this video, we are going to talk about the fighter assassin hero, Zilong. Zilong has a good set of buff, crowd control, and charging skills. Our son of the dragon, Zilong, is a fighter assassin hero. I consider Zilong as a pushing fighter hero since his ultimate skill buffs him, making it easier to destroy turrets. Not only that, his skills are specially made to gank enemy heroes. Now, let me share some tips and tricks on how to use Zilong based on our experience. I will also teach you some combos and techniques on the latter part of this bootcamp. But before that, let me explain his skills one by one for further understanding. Zilong's passive, Dragon Flurry, lets Zilong land multiple hits of his basic attack to the enemies. Every 6 seconds, Zilong's next basic attack will land a combo of multiple attacks to the target. The flurry will deal 180% basic attack damage. Each basic attack hit to an enemy will lower the cooldown of his passive by half a second. Zilong's first skill, Spear Flip, lets Zilong lifts an enemy with his spear and drops it off behind him. The target will receive a certain amount of physical damage. This will also reduce the target's physical defense for a short period.
You have slain an enemy!
Zilong's second skill, Spear Strike, lets Zilong dash towards an enemy target with his spear. The target will receive a certain amount of physical damage. After the dash, he performs a quick basic attack immediately. Zilong's ultimate skill, Supreme Warrior, lets Zilong buffs himself to be the Supreme Dragon Warrior. Upon using this skill, his movement and attack speed will be increased for a short period. While the buff is present, Zilong is immune to slowing effects. Also, the buffs are removed instantly upon using this skill. There are so many items that you can buy for Zilong. You can focus on items that grants physical damage, critical chance and damage, and items that deals extra true damage. You can actually consider the Retinella build if you want to focus on objective gaming by focusing on pushing. You can also consider the Pharma-Rama build if you chose Retribution as your spell and wants to farm faster. You can also have fun with the Mage Zilong build if you want to burst passive damage. We will show you our experiment about that later, but let's talk about the Kurumi way further. As a starting item, you might want to consider buying Swift Boots. Swift Boots grants additional attack speed and movement speed. Having additional attack speed will make your attacks faster. This will let you deal lots of attacks, especially during team fights. Buying attack items, such as Endless Battle, can boost your damage effectively. This item gives you additional physical attack, health, mana regen, lifesteal, movement speed, and cooldown reduction. Its unique passive grants you additional true damage on your next basic attack after using a skill. Triggering the passive of this skill also grants you additional movement speed. With the cooldown reduction in its unique passive, Zilong will be more explosive with this. You also might want to consider Scarlet Phantom. This item grants physical attack speed, and critical chance. Its unique passive grants you additional attack speed and critical chance after dealing a critical hit to an enemy. This buff lasts for a few seconds. You can consider buying Berserker's Fury. This item gives you additional physical attack and critical chance. Its unique passive grants you additional critical damage on your critical hits. Also, dealing critical hits will increase your physical attack by a certain amount for a short period of time. You might want to consider Blade of Despair. This item grants additional physical attack and movement speed. Its unique passive will give you additional physical attack when the target's health is below a certain percentage. The movement speed bonus can also help you chase enemies or escape death. Lastly, you might also want to consider Queen's Wings. This item grants physical damage, health points, and cooldown reduction. Its unique passive reduces damage taken by 50% when your health is less than 40% and also increases your physical lifesteal by 30%. This lasts for 5 seconds. This effect has a 50 seconds cooldown. The item build for Zilong really depends on the enemy's lineup. So make sure to read each item's description so you can adapt in-game. One of the best spells to be used on Zilong is Arrival. This lets you teleport to an allied turret or minion after casting it for a few seconds. Your movement speed will be increased after teleporting. Also, the next basic attack will be enhanced, which will deal additional true damage and also reducing the target's movement speed. This is the best spell, especially when you want to focus on objective gaming by pushing turrets. You can also consider Retribution. This will deal true damage to the target minion or jungle monster. When you have a jungling item, having this spell will decrease the damage taken from jungle monsters permanently. This spell will help you farm more gold faster. Building items quickly in the early game will give you advantage against enemies, making it for you to prey easier on squishy targets like marksman and mage. In my opinion, the best emblem set to be used is the Custom Assassin Emblem set. Custom Assassin Emblem could provide extra stats according to your needs as a fighter assassin. Set agility to its max level because it can give you additional movement speed. Higher movement speed means higher chance to chase enemies or escape death. Setting invasion to max level will provide you physical penetration. Higher physical penetration means higher damage on your basic attacks and skills. Get high and dry to increase your damage to the target when he is the only nearby hero. This is advisable when you try ganking a single hero, but in case you are not that type, just consider Bounty Hunter or Killing Spree instead. Set second skill to max level first. Prioritizing this makes the cooldown lower. That means you can cast this to chase again enemies as soon as possible. Prioritize first skill less since your second skill is what you need to chase down enemies. Always upgrade his ultimate skill when available for upgrading. Zilong is one of the OG heroes in Mobile Legends. Some might underestimate him as a hero, but we can definitely say that he ganks and rats well. With having both ganking and objective pushing in mind, Zilong definitely has both. Just make sure not to keep on diving inside team fights without allies. Please don't be a fool, okay? As you may know about Oriental warriors, Zilong is one of them. So if he has other Oriental warriors on his team, he will gain a secret buff that will increase his movement speed. Zilong's passive skill is what you need to deal extra damage to the enemies. Before we proceed, I know you might be looking for our experiment on Mage Zilong build. We will tackle that later on the experiment section, okay? Anyway, with the ability to deal a flurry combo, this will definitely scare the sheep out of the enemies. Zilong's spear will be glowing whenever your passive is ready. You may notice that Zilong deals 4 attacks during the flurry, as said on the description. This passive will deal 180% of Zilong's basic attack damage. We tested it somehow and let me show you the hit without the passive skill. The damage is 224. How about with the passive skill? The total damage is 390. Having a big brain, I can say that the passive skill dealt almost 180% of his basic attack. It's just almost because there are hidden factors, such as enemies' physical defense. So in short, the 4 attacks are partitions of a basic attack with 180% damage. And these 4 attacks are independent. You may be curious if these 4 attacks will trigger item effects such as Demon Hunter Sword or Feather of Heaven. We will be showing you our experiments about that later on. Zilong's passive skill can also deal critical hits. As being said that the 4 attacks are independent, each of the 4th of may or may not deal critical hit, depending on the chance it got to go critical. Zilong's first skill is what you need to flip enemies just like grilling s'mores. With the ability to lift enemies and drop them off behind you, this can make or break the game. Just imagine flipping the enemy marksman or mage behind you with your allies. They will be having a feast on that enemy for sure. But beware of flipping tank setters like Tigreal or Minotaur. As we said, this can make or break the game. So definitely, these tank setters will destroy your team's soul and dignity. But on this scenario, we flipped Tigreal at the best moment. This made his ultimate skill cancelled, making him see his forefathers as early as possible. With that, you should turn on your hero lock mode. This can assure you that your skill will target the locked enemy hero. Take note that you can flip enemies even if there is a wall in between you. As long as it's within the skill's radius, you can flip the enemy like pancakes. Unfortunately, you can't make the enemy flip over a wall behind you. Zilong's second skill is what you need to charge towards a target. With the ability to charge towards your desired target, that target will have less chance to escape his death. This should be used in combo with your first skill. Depending on the situation, it's necessary to charge using this skill, then flip the enemy target like a pancake. Take note that this skill can make you pass through walls, as long as the target is within this skill's radius. You might be wondering if Zilong uses this skill on Johnson or Fanny. Will Zilong hitch a ride with Johnson and Fanny? We will tackle that on our experiments later. Zilong's ultimate skill is what you need to make you the very best. With the movement and attack speed bonus, this will definitely help you fighting enemies, and even pushing turrets. We really play Zilong as a pushing rat, that's why we have a rival. With this skill, it's just easy peasy lemon squeezy to push turrets. The only thing you have to be aware is when enemies come to defend the turret. It's either you can still run away while still having the buff from your ultimate, or just die in agony because the effects of your ultimate skill wear off. Take note that this skill doesn't work against crowd control. Being crowd controlled like knock-up or stun will disable you from using this skill. Also, while being buffed by your ultimate skill, you are immune to slowing effects. So better make the most out of it. Here we are again with our experiments. We have our lovely lab rats, I-chan and Rakuten, to demonstrate with us some of Zilong's skill's effectivity. First, we were really curious if Zilong's passive skill, does it count the number of basic attack hits for its cooldown reduction? Or does it just consider the number of swings Zilong has thrown to enemies? We have our lovely I-chans here to show it us. Most of us know that melee heroes deal splash basic attacks to nearby enemies. So let's try if the number of hits will be the one counted for his cooldown, or the number of swings. As you can see, even if he hits multiple enemies, the cooldown of his passive skill still depends on the number of swings he dealt. Now, how about testing this skill against Spell Vamp? We all know that Spell Vamp works on skills. Zilong's passive is a skill, so will we regenerate health from Spell Vamp with this skill? Well, it is pretty clear that we didn't gain anything from his passive skill. So in short, lifesteal will be the one working for his passive skill. Next up, we tried item effects such as Demon Hunter's Sword and Feather of Heaven on his passive skill. Let's focus first on Demon Hunter's Sword. Will the Demon Hunter's Sword effects work on each of the 4 attacks? As you can see, the effect of the Demon Hunter's Sword was only triggered once. You might ask, Kurumi, you mentioned earlier that these are considered as 4 different basic attacks, so why is this happening? Well, keep calm. This is maybe because Muntun saw that this is an OP item for Zilong. That's why they didn't make Demon Hunter Sword's effect work on the 4 flurries. Well, I think testing it on Feather of Heaven will excite you even more. Let's now try it on Feather of Heaven. Oh my god, look at those mini magic damage. Your eyes are not fooling you. Feather of Heaven effects work on the 4 flurries. So given this information, it's now up to you to introduce the new Mage Zilong meta build. Take a look at his magic damage. Truly spectacular. But I'm pretty sure this won't do much on pushing. But it will mostly cover killing enemies with your burst flurries. Go ahead and try this crazy Bat-Sheep build. Now, we now have our favorite lab rat, Rakuten, to help us demonstrate the hero on which his ultimate skill is our favorite to experiment at. We have Rakuten as Squirt. If you have watched previous videos, his ultimate skill is mysterious. We will try if Zilong's first skill can cancel his ultimate skill. Let's try it out. As you can see, Gord's ultimate skill was cancelled. This is probably because flipping is considered an airborne crowd control. So, Zilong's first skill will also cancel most of channeling skills out there. Next up, we have Johnson. Let's try if we can flip the sheep out of Johnson while driving beside us. As you can see, Johnson is unstoppable while driving. Maybe it's because Johnson becomes heavier while in car mode. How about we try if we can hitch a ride with Johnson? As you can see, Zilong stopped after a while. This is either Zilong is faster than Johnson, or there is only a limit to Zilong's flying prowess. Now, we have Fanny. We all know that some skills can't stop Fanny from zooming here and there. But with Zilong's first skill, even how fast she may be, as long as Zilong pokes her with his long spear, she will be halted and will feel his wrath. Now, let's try if Zilong can hitch a ride with Fanny. As you can see, Zilong stopped in midair. This is again either because he is faster than Fanny, or there might be a limit on his flying prowess. Now, we tried if Zilong will still follow the enemy when he uses his second skill towards an enemy that just recalled back to base. As you can see, he stopped chasing the enemy after the recall, but you can see that I received mini damage. This is mainly because Rakuten bought blade armor. So this just means to say that I was still able to deal my basic attacks to him, but was just stopped to charge towards him because that's a crazy bath sheep idea. Here, we tried if Zilong will still chase an enemy that uses flicker. As you can see, Zilong still chased me until the spot I used my flicker to. So even if you have flicker, Zilong's second skill is still scary when used at the right timing. Lastly, we tried a really cool experiment with the flicker spell on Zilong. Most of us know that flicker hook combo works with Franco. So, we tried if it also works on Zilong's flipping skills. As you can see, Raki was able to flip me farther because of flicker. Just make sure to use it at the right timing. In terms of his combo, we usually follow a simple combo for Zilong. First, we use a rival to respond to our allies or to gank enemies. It's okay if you don't have a rival, just proceed to the next step. Then, we use our ultimate skill to do a battle cry to make the enemy more scared. Kidding aside, this helps you to reach the enemy faster and ready for wild action. Then, we make sure that our hero lock is locked on our desired target. Then, we use our second skill to charge towards our desired target. Then, we deal a little of basic attacks. And if the enemy looks like running away, we use our first skill to flip the target over. This will ensure that his escape will be delayed. If you have retribution, use it to slow down the target. Then, just use skills or deal basic attacks whenever available. Your basic attack is primarily your main source of damage, so don't forget to spam on that attack button. Additional tip, Arrival is the best spell for us, since we really recommend playing objectively by pushing turrets. Being on a place where you are least expected by the enemy will catch them off guard. But again, spells differ from each humans, so you should really check which spell fits your gameplay. The tips I mentioned are just some of the ways you can use Zilong. This video just guides you on how to use Zilong the Kurumi way. We would like to thank our Wakandian brother, Rakuten, for being our lab rat again for this boot camp. You can search for him in-game and tell him how much you appreciate him, willing to sacrifice his pride and honor to be pro hooker. Watch his in-game streams and send some flowers and hearts. So, once again, this is Kurumi and that's how you use Zilong. Thanks for watching. Do not forget to like and share this video. Also subscribe to our channel for more contents by clicking on the subscribe button. For our skin giveaway events, check out the community tab for the giveaway posts. We have our Ko-fi account just in case you want to donate us some coffee funds. Check our Ko-fi link on the description of this video. Please, only trust bootcamp videos from our official accounts. See you on the next Mobile Legends bootcamp. Cheers.